Hiya, you're about to hear from some Caius undergraduates about what they get up to in their spare time outside of their degree at Cambridge. You can get involved with extracurriculars on a college level, university-wide, or just in the local area, and there are so many enjoyable and valuable things that you can spend your time doing at Cambridge, so I hope this video gives you an idea of just a few of them.
Hi everyone, this is Podrick speaking. I'm almost a second year studying Anglo-Saxon, Norse and Celtic. Now, I'd like to talk about different extracurriculars at Caius. Now, obviously, your degree is not all the time that you're going to spend at university. You're going to go to lectures, you're going to have supervisions, but there's also much to do in those 8 weeks of term time, and obviously 24 weeks in total. There's something that you will definitely find that suits your fancy. There's a freshers fair at the beginning of Michaelmas, if I'm not mistaken, of all the Caius societies that you can join, and there's sports societies, so you can do rowing, you can do football, you can do tennis.
Hiya, I'm Ella and I study philosophy at Caius. I think my favourite extracurricular that I've been involved in is the football team. Especially the women and non-binary football team at Caius is just such a welcoming and accepting place, and I've had some of the best times there. You train about once a week and you play a match about once a week, but the best thing about college football is it's really relaxed, anyone can join, and it's very low pressure, so I'd really recommend getting involved for the best sense of community that you can find in Caius.
Hi, I'm Grace and I study law at Caius. I row on the women's side at Caius, mostly as a break from studying, but also as a nice social activity because you meet so many lovely people, and it also keeps you fit and gives you a chance to exercise outside of your normal schedule. I particularly like it, oddly, for the early mornings because it means it doesn't interrupt with my day, such as lectures or supervisions, and I can actually exercise, get the adrenaline in the morning and then go on and carry on with my day. It's very, very fun. I've made lots of friends through it. We go dinners, and you have lots of social events such as boat club dinner, which is really enjoyable. They have that twice a year, and you get to meet lots of people, do new things, learn a new skill, all while in a college environment where everyone around you pretty much know or will interact with at some point.
Hey, I'm Carla and I study Human, Social and Political Sciences. The first extracurricular I'll mention is about charity fundraising. So I got involved with fundraising in my first year, and I did Frag Jailbreak, which is where you had 36 hours to get as far away from uni as possible on no money, and it was to raise money for 4 local Cambridge charities. It's a bit of an out there thing to do in your first year, looking back now, but it's been one of the most memorable things I've done, and I did it with a friend I made in first year, so it really helped build that initial friendship, and we still talk about it now. And yeah, we met loads of people doing it and had loads of interesting conversations. It was a really interesting thing to do. RAG Jailbreak is part of RAG, which is a broader student organisation for charity / fundraising. And RAG Jailbreak itself is just one thing you can get involved in at Cambridge, where there's really a bunch of stuff to do with fundraising activities.
Hi, I'm Maddie and I study medicine. I've been quite involved in Cambridge Access since I began studying here, and this is quite important to me because I come from the northeast, which is quite less represented in Cambridge, and I also come from a comprehensive school. So Access is all about making Cambridge more accessible, making people feel like they can apply and that there isn't just a Cambridge stereotype. So we've been doing school tours, so each college is assigned to an area, and then we invite those schools to come along, bring some students, and we can take them round and they have a chance to ask questions that they want to about the subjects, about what they need to be doing in order to apply and make the application good. We also do interview helping, so I stayed for an extra week in first year and helped out at the interviews, which was really good because you've already experienced it, you know how nerve-wracking it can be, and you can just kind of try and calm down the students, talk to them about what you felt and what happened to you, what your experience was like, and it can be quite reassuring, which I found was really helpful at my interviews. They were really, really good. in between interviews, because we have 3 interviews for medicine, so there was kind of a waiting period in between, and they got you involved chatting to other people, so it just made the experience much nicer. There were also lots of access days, so we've done a medicine access day, we've done a BME access day, there was a law access day, and they're really fun to be part of. Everyone's so lovely on them, and you can make loads of friends being involved.
Cambridge Hub is a student-led group, and it encourages students to get more at the university, to get more involved in their local community. And it was something I felt like I really wanted to do when I heard about it. It might have been at sixth form I'd done some volunteering, and that was always in my local community, so it might have felt a natural thing that I wanted to do because I'd already done that similar sort of thing there. And to know my time was being put to some positive use in the local community. And like I said, I've really enjoyed it. They do stuff ranging from project incubation to volunteering. There's stuff for undergraduates and graduates. And the other unique thing is, whilst other student societies, they tend to be like with other students, with the Hub, even though it's student-led group, there's also staff at the Hub. And then there's also, you'll meet in the local community as well. So I just felt like it was more varied, and I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Hi there, I am Alex, and I'm a second year modern and medieval linguist studying French and Russian at Gomberlin Keyes College in Cambridge. The University of Cambridge and Keyes itself are such incredible places to explore theatre. The great thing about Cambridge, which I really appreciated, was that directors are always happy and encouraging and welcoming to freshers and new talent, whether you've acted before and want to pursue your passion for theatre, or whether it's your first time and you're interested, you're keen in trying your hand at theatre. Everyone is on an equal playing field. I personally acted this year in the University of Cambridge's annual French play, which was a lot of fun. As a student studying French myself at the university, I had a ball. I met so many amazing people from all around the university, and that was, I guess, my first experience of really socializing and expanding my faces which I could just say hi to in the street and like have a nice chat with out beyond Keyes, and it was just really great to be able to meet people, some who'd acted before and others like me. The last time I had acted before this year was in my year 6 school play, so I really hadn't acted for a long time, and there were others like that as well, and we bonded so well.
I've also been involved in the music in Cambridge, so each college has their own orchestra, choir. We have a big band which is sort of like saxophones, jazz kind of band, and I play the cello, and to an okay standard. Like, obviously some people are very, very good, but I felt more than welcome being there, being an okay cellist, and it was really good fun. You get to play in front of sort of fellows and people, like my DOS was there, so that's Director of Studies, and afterwards there's like a party and things, and it's kind of a good way to make friends. I am involved in the Cambridge Viol Ensemble. Now viols are like Baroque instruments, so they're quite a niche like instrument to play. But they have a society for it at Cambridge, which I'm part of, and I've played a few concerts for them, so that's really fun.
So debating was another opportunity for me, like theatre, to express myself. When I went into trials at the beginning of Michaelmas term in first year, I was worried that everyone there would be so sure and confident of themselves and have so much experience, but there's no need to be worried, as I found out, because there is such a wide range of abilities, and whether you're in the best or the advanced, the intermediates, or the beginners team, there are so many opportunities which you're offered. I ended up debating for the intermediates, and every weekend there'd be competitions. We could go to King's College London to debate against them, for example. It's really the perfect kind of way to let out your opinions, but also to be enlightened, I think, and that's really important, to listen and come out of a debate thinking differently than you did when you went into it.
The university has a student radio station called Cam FM, and you can host your own radio show. They'll train you up to like how to use the station, whether it's fading jingles in and out to using the mics properly. And your show could be quite discussion based, it can be more music based, it's fairly open in what you do. So also a bit on student journalism. There's a bunch of stuff you can do for it. My involvement with it comes from co-writing an article for Varsity, which is one of the student newspapers at Cambridge, and I did that about the rag jailbreak experience with my friend. So that was like a one-off article feature, so you could do that, or you could perhaps become a regular columnist for one of the student newspapers at Cambridge. You could help with like video footage for more of the online stuff and the video production, or maybe after a bit of experience you might want to become someone like an editor. So yeah, for student journalism there is always something to do at Cambridge.
I would say that my main role this year has been, and still is, on the GCSU, or the Gonville and Keys Students' Union. Each member of the union looks after a different group of students at Keys, and it's a completely student-run body. So I am freshers representative, which means that I look after my year when we were freshers, as well as the incoming freshers this autumn in October. Other examples of roles on the committee include housing officer, who looks after everything housing and accommodation related, as well as green officer, who looks after anything to do with concerning the environment at Keys. There's also the LGBT plus officer. As a freshers representative, some of my duties include what I just finished writing, for example, which is the Freshers Guide, which is a booklet full of practical information as well as personal advice to help freshers settle in and transition as smoothly as possible into university. As well as this, I'll also be organising Freshers Week with activities and different ways for freshers to get to know each other better, meet each other, and find common interests amongst each other, and just feel at home at Keys as soon as possible. I've also organised marriage formal for my year, for example, which is a special Cambridge tradition where people get married in first year in order to have college children in second year. And it's basically the idea of parenting and being able to give advice and a kind of pastoral system at Cambridge, which we have. So to become parents, you get college married, and there's always a dinner, a very fancy occasion to celebrate the marriage. This year it was a very special kind of unique memory, having it over Zoom, having 80 people on Zoom, but it was very meaningful to me, especially I think because I'm on the other side of the world right now in Australia, and to be able to feel that sense of community nevertheless once again, thanks to the Zoom marriage formal that we organised, was great.
So I was also involved in the GCSU. Last year I was welfare officer on it, which basically means that you're a student point of contact for anyone who might be having any sort of difficulties in college, and then you can point them on to the right resources to help. I found that really valuable and rewarding, and also a lot of fun when we got to organise events like puppy petting, which a lot of people come to and seem to really enjoy. It's great to make a difference to people's day-to-day lives at Cambridge.
I've also been part of the ENTS team, which is the entertainment team who are on the Gonville and Keys Student Union. So this allows you to plan events like parties, which we call BOPs, which I believe stands for Big Organised Party, fun, and garden parties and club nights. And it's so good to be part of. It means that you can kind of have a break from your studies. So obviously when we were putting all the decorations up and stuff, it was just a really nice break from medicine. And also on the night, it's really good to kind of see everyone having fun and know that you put that together. It's also really good for organisational skills, so you can kind of work on that. I did the finance side, so I had to have a bank account and work out where to spend the money, where to allocate it, and how much to charge for drinks and things like that. So that was a really good experience.
I was also on the Gonville and Keys June Event 2020 committee this year, which is simply an event at the end of the year for after exams are over, at the very end of the academic year, for students to relax and have fun, enjoy themselves. People stay up until sunrise, dancing, singing, taking part in those performances, which was ultimately cancelled, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. However, I had such a great time. I was design and publicity and creative officer, so I was in charge of decorations as well as the theme reveal, which was an unforgettable experience, being able to invite friends and everyone from Keys to come watch the committee reveal the theme which we'd worked so hard on to create. And so the decorations, the visual aspects of the June event were planned around optical illusions and lucid dreaming, just bonding with different members of the committee, all in Keys, over this one common goal, this one common aim, to create a special night, a unique night for everyone at Caius, was such a heartwarming and really enjoyable experience.
Uni-wide, there's the Uni-wide Freshers Fair, also at the beginning of Michaelmas, where you get to join many other different societies. Me personally, I joined the Gospel Choir, and I joined the Latin Conversation Society. Usually, freshers do tend to apply to like many societies, and then you can kind of just cherry pick which ones you want to stick with, because you will be added onto their mailing list, and if you just decide not to go to that society anymore, you can kind of just remove yourself from the mailing list, and that's that. So it will take some time, maybe a few days or weeks, to kind of figure out what you want to do and what you really want to spend your time doing whilst you're not focusing on your degree.
As a student studying languages and literature, joining language and cultural societies was just a natural way for me to meet people from different countries and explore different cultures further beyond my course. So as a member of a language society, for example, a French society or a Russian society or a German or Belgian society, there are often formals every term, so it's a way to be able to just sit down over a nice meal in a beautiful Cambridge hall and speak to people from the country, or people equally interested and enthusiastic about the country as you are. There are also film nights, for example. So with French Society, there are quite regular screenings of films from the new wave, from the 1960s all the way up until today, modern day French cinema, and it's just a perfect way to be immersed in the culture in an entertaining and relaxing way in the evening after what's potentially a long day of work. As well as events such as those, there are cultural festival events. So for example, with the Russian Society, there's a pancake making society on Maslenitsa, which is their pancake day. So you make Russian style pancakes and you go to a college and you get to, it's quite fun and interactive, and it's just very pleasant to be able to connect with different people, either through a common interest or through a common nationality. And that's something which I really appreciated from cultural language societies, and you make friends for life there, you really do, and you're able to speak to them over message, and if you want, practice your language, or if you just simply just hear about what's happening in their country from a local's perspective, which I find just amazing.
Thanks for watching, and I hope it's been useful. Keep an eye out for our other YouTube videos, giving insight on what life is like at Caius, developing an interest in your subject, and giving guidance on how to prepare for interviews.